listen closely. I'd like to help you, but I can't. I'd like to tell you to take a copy of your policy to Norma Wilcox, WILCOX, on the third floor, but I can't. I also do not advise you to fill out and file a WS-2475 form with our legal department on the second floor. I would not expect someone to get back to you quickly to resolve the matter. I'd like to help, but there's nothing I can do.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I know you're upset. Pretend to be upset.
Bob Parr is so big for the world in which he works, he barely fits in the frame. It's one more scale to the likes of his boss, the diminutive and equally mean-spirited Gilbert Huff. A grayscale world of equally grey uniformity, one where mediocrity, not the exceptional, is rewarded. Not a place then for the likes of Mr. Incredible. Welcome to Pixar's world of work.
Morning break is over. Morning break is over.
As The Incredibles nod to the mid-century monochrome metropolis hints, this is an image with a long cinematic history. In the post-war context of corporate America and beyond, this image of the individual bound within the capitalist or bureaucratic machine becomes almost definitive. From C.C. Baxter in Billy Wilder's The Apartment, to Joseph Kay in Orson Welles' The Trial, to Monsieur Hulot, lost in the Paris of Jacques Tati's Playtime. The office space can even become something with which the individual is forced to contend, as in Terry Gilliam's Brazil. Modern workspace, now rationalised here and compartmentalised into cubicles, is seen to squeeze the body, which in The Incredibles is of course also the spirit. A dystopian vision of workplace architecture epitomised by films like Office Space and of course The Matrix. Hardly a surprise then that Bob Parr finds himself literally smashing holes in the wall. Elsewhere, in Pixar's later work, this desire to break free from what's seen as the deadening conformity of corporate life is given a different image. A lost soul returned to the body of a disillusioned hedge fund manager.
What am I doing with my life? I'm alive! I'm alive! Free yourself!
But perhaps the most violent image of workplace life in Pixar's work is that of Inside Out 2, in which anxiety tyrannously prevails over a cubicle floor of frantic workers, all of them under anxiety's relentless demands, churning out thumbnail sketches of Riley's worst fears. This seems like an image deliberately designed to evoke an animation sweatshop, one that isn't too far from the satire of Banksy's famous couch gag in The Simpsons. But it's also one that harks back to those earlier cinematic images of workplace dystopia. Take, for instance, Charlie Chaplin's pre-Orwellian vision of industrial labour relations in modern times.
Hey! Quit stalling, get back to work!
It's a more literal Orwellian vision, though, that Inside Out calls to mind. Ridley Scott's 1984 ad, made to sell Apple's new Macintosh computer, the brainchild of a certain Steve Jobs, the man who also ran Pixar for the next 2 decades. It hardly seems accidental, then, that in Inside Out 2, these images from its one-time owner's back catalogue should shape Pixar's vision of the cubicle sweatshop, undone literally by joy. The only difference being that anxiety's Big Brother screen is shattered not by a hammer, but by a flying work stool. Work stools would definitely not play a role in the new millennial postmodern workplace, nor cubicles either. The open-plan New York offices designed by Gaetano Pesce for the ad agency Shy at Day, for example, the agency behind Apple's 1984 slot, cried out fun, collaboration, and above all, that now dominant vision of late-century knowledge work, not corporate, but creative. Pixar's rebooted studios, overseen by and later named after Jobs, took a similar lead. Workspaces would be personalized, kooky. Open planning would inspire random interactions and ideas. Meeting rooms would be as colorful and playful as the films themselves. It's unsurprising that Pixar, especially since it became part of the Disney Corporation 20 years ago, should showcase its own creative open-plan architecture in its online studio tours. But this same sense of joyful enterprise, as already seen in Inside Out 2, is a message the studio is already sharing in its films. Is it an accident then that the first film released from Pixar's Emeryville studio, Monsters Incorporated, ends with the celebration of open plan, fun-filled labour? Labour that, in this respect, doesn't even look like work. Who, the film and Pixar itself seems to ask, would not want to be part of this team?